Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our AEW series in TEW2020. I, of course, am CR Daredevil and CR Daredevil 05, really. And we are doing all of the crazy live action stuff for another episode of Dynamite. Um, Brain's in a bit of a fog today, so I apologize ahead of time. Doing the pain med stuff, but anyway. Yeah, we have an episode of Dynamite here on the road to Fighter Fest. A lot of crazy things have been happening, and we'll have to see how things get built up heading into the pay-per-view itself. We'll have to see what ends up happening with everything. But before we get into Dynamite, we have our unofficial episode of Dark to get through. In front of 3,039 people at the Jay Bergman Field, we have Shotzi Blackheart defeating Anna Jay in 6:35 by pinfall to Diving Senton. 40 rating for the match, 40 from Shotzi, 31 from Anna Jay. As you will notice there, we have a debut in this matchup because we managed to get Aubrey Edwards. We did not start off the save with Aubrey Edwards. She was still working for NXT at the save at the time. But her contract was up, and I was like, well, I got to get her because, I mean, technically she's from WWE and NXT, but she was an AEW original, so I got to get her for the save. So we have her here now, and she's a referee now. But Shotzi Blackheart gets the victory here over Anna Jay. Then after that, the Prisoners of War get a victory over Jigsaw and Tracy Williams in 8:24 when Macklin pinned Jigsaw with a Michinoku driver. 49 rating for the match. Not really anything. The commentators kind of talk about their issues with the best friends, but there really isn't storyline advancement with this matchup here. Blake and Macklin each with a 43, Tracy Williams with a 51, and Jigsaw with a 45. So maybe I put over the wrong team, even though they are the established tag team. But it was a way for the Prisoners of War to get a victory and look decent in said victory. Then we have Kylie Ray defeat Penelope Ford in 7:49 by submission with an STF. 36 rating for the match. 34 from Kylie Ray, 31 from Penelope Ford. Not a great match. Probably shouldn't be putting these two in singles matches against each other. They do not have that good of in-ring performances, at least at this time. Then the main event of Dark got a 51 rating as Shane Strickland preparing for his match against MJF in the near future. Defeats Richard Holiday in 9:04 by pinfall 450 splash. 51 rating for the match. 53 from Strickland and 46 from Holiday. It does get announced during this matchup. There's a few matches that have already been kind of announced for Fyter Fest at this point, which I'll go over as the show goes on. But it does get announced that it is going to be Shane Strickland and MJF one-on-one at Fyter Fest as well. So the match has officially been made official. Officially been made official? Yeah. So it is going to be one-on-one those two at Fyter Fest. We go on to the main portion of Dynamite with a 51 rated segment, probably because of the Thrill Seekers, but you know what, that's fine. As Jon Moxley has a quick promo talking about Fyter Fest, he says that he knows that Chris Jericho wants this singles match, this normal match, no falls count anywhere, all the rules attached to it and everything like that, because he thinks for some reason that there being no rules meant that the match was in my favor. He can't accept the fact that I'm just better than him. So you know what? I'll go with what he's saying. I accept the challenge. 1-on-1 regular singles match, disqualifications, countouts, all that garbage at Fyter Fest. You and me, Jericho, 1-on-1. And if you think you're gonna have Hager and Guevara backing you up around side the ring and everything, I've got these two goofy mother effers to watch my back. And they're just kind of, Everett and Lee don't say anything during this. They're just kind of in the background, just, hanging out, kind of excited to be here kind of thing. Only got a 51 because I did rate Everett and Lee on their charisma. That probably is what kind of hurt it. But there you go. So Moxley accepts the challenge. It is going to be 1-on-1 in a singles matchup. Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho at Fyter Fest. Then in opening contest, we see Matt Sydal defeat Ricky Starks in 9:28 by pinfall and Aftershock. 79 from Sydal, 32 from Ricky Starks. 66 rating for the match itself. Really good way to start off Dynamite here, as gets a very impressive looking victory here. But afterwards, he gets jumped by Miro. Miro continuing to attack Matt Sydal, continuing to come after Sydal. Jumps him during the matchup. Of course, during the match that Sydal was having, he was kind of showing, still some injuries and stuff because he's still kind of a little sore from the attack a couple weeks ago. And now Miro just attacked him again, so gotta imagine he's not gonna be at 100% heading forward. But yeah, we're gonna have to figure out. I mean, other than Miro just trying to, be a redeemer and trying to do whatever. We got to see if Sydal can fight back somehow, because right now he's been kind of getting beaten up during this whole thing. He's getting, he hasn't been looking great during this whole feud. Got a 60 rating though, gained here for the storyline, so I can't complain about that. Then we have a backstage segment. Gets a 60 rating, nice. As Ashley Lane is pounding on the door of Steven Regal back in his office. And of course, Regal opens the door and Lane is like, "What in the hell is the meaning of this?" Regal's like, you got to explain. I have a lot of things I'm dealing with right now. I'm putting together a pay-per-view. Like, you got to explain what the hell you're talking about. And Ashley Lane goes, "You put me in a matchup against Hikaru Shida at Fyter Fest?" And Regal's like, "Well, yeah, you've been saying for weeks how you're better than her and how you want to beat her and all that stuff." And she goes, "I was just... What? No, I said it was going to be done on my time. I get to decide when this happens. I get to decide all this stuff." And Regal's like, "You're not in charge. You're not a book. You're not an authority figure here in AEW. You don't get to decide anything like that. You're having a match with Hikaru Shida at Fyter Fest. And if you don't like it, well, you can find somewhere else to work then." And Lane just gets pissed off and storms out of the office. So 60 rating here, as we do get it official. It is going to be Ashley Lane versus Hikaru Shida at Fyter Fest. Then after that, our AEW Women's World Champion is in action. And she defeats Xia Brookside in 9:37 by pinfall with an alley driver. I keep forgetting to change the name of that. Whatever. 50 rating for the match, 49 from the Bunny, and 38 from Brookside. Kind of off her game a little bit, the Money is. Normally she's got low 50s that she's doing. So 49 is kind of a little bit lower than her usual ratings. But she gets a impressive non-title victory here. Alexis Kaufman was at the commentary table during the matchup, and it was mentioned how there is going to be a match next week to determine who will be the Bunny's opponent at Fyter Fest for the AEW Women's World Championship. It's not announced who's in the match yet, but Kaufman does kind of confirm that she's in the match. She says that it's going to be her chance to get revenge after the miss to the face at Revolution that cost her the championship. So there you go. But Bunny here with a 50 rated matchup, getting a non-title win. Then after that, we have a Days for Wrestling little segment backstage. Got a 50. Lost heat for the storyline, but I kind of expected that, honestly. As Kenny Omega's backstage. It's kind of just, hanging out, not really doing much. He's not wrestling on the show or anything like that tonight. He's kind of hanging out, whatever. When he gets, he goes and kind of turns around. It's like one of those things where, like, the camera zoomed in on him and he's facing one way. And then he turns around and he stops and just looks. And the camera pans out and you see Tommy End standing there with the blade next to him. And Omega just kind of looking at both of them. And then says, "Your boys may not be learning to stay out of the Dark Order's business, but you need to before it's too late for you. Let those Jackson brothers suffer, and then just let them fade away. Don't get into a battle that you can't handle." And then Tommy End and the Blade walk off as Omega just kind of looks at them, kind of, trying to figure out what he's supposed to think about with this warning. So, because obviously last week we saw where Omega said he was going to try to help the Bucks, help them prove that they're still elite and all that kind of stuff. And clearly Tommy End was watching that segment, or had watched that segment, because now he's warning Omega to stay away from this whatever battle, which I didn't think there was another battle going on because, the Uno and Grayson beat the Bucks again, so I didn't think there was getting another title shot, but but apparently that's a thing. Well, not that they're getting a title shot, but apparently they're still involved in the title picture. Then after that, Cody Rhodes goes out to the ring and has a match where he defeats Lee Moriarty in 9:35 by pinfall to Crossroads. 57 rated for the match, 57 from Cody, 52 from Moriarty. Really impressive in-ring performance for Moriarty. Very unimpressive in-ring performance from Cody Rhodes. I don't know what the hell happened there. It was inconsistent, but I don't know what the heck happened there. Cody's usually better than that. We got some people who are underperforming this week, apparently. 57 rated for the match, though, as Cody just gets a decisive victory here. Not really much to it. I mean, Lee Moriarty does get in some offense, but it's basically just kind of, Cody Rhodes getting a clear-cut victory. Afterwards, though, Cody Rhodes is celebrating, only to find himself staring face-to-face with Jonathan Fatu. Fatu doesn't attack him this week, though. He doesn't super kick him. He doesn't attack him, anything like that. He's just staring at him face-to-face. Cody's kind of mouthing something to him, and there's just no verbal reaction from Fatu. He just stares at him, and then he backs up and, drops down, rolls out of the ring, and just kind of stares at him as he heads backwards up the ramp. So, not sure what's on Jonathan Fatu's mind, but he's, he confronts Cody Rhodes on this episode of Dynamite. We'll have to see in the future what ends up happening between these two. Then after that, we've got a segment where Martina is partying backstage. She's dancing while drinking. And she ends up spilling her drink on somebody who's walking by. And that the camera pans out to show that it is none other than Mia Yim. Martina just is like, oh, come on, party. So she offers her alcohol. And Yim just kind of stares at the can. And then just swats it out of her hand and starts attacking her. So Mia Yim, not very happy about getting alcohol spilled all over her. Decides to attack Martina. And so, not sure what's going to happen with these two. But there's that. 41 rating here. As Martina's getting attacked backstage by Mia Yim. Then in tag team action, we have Io Shirai and Kairi Hojo of 3 Elite defeating Camilla Kane and Karen Q in 9:43 when Hojo pinned Karen Q with the diving elbow drop, or just the diving elbow drop, her shining elbow. 47 rated for the match, 50 from Shirai, 46 from Kairi, 33 from Camilla, and 35 from Karen. Mercedes did join the commentary table during this matchup and was talking about how, she's talking about her issues with 3 Elite recently and how 3 Elite feel like Mercedes is targeting them when she has said it from the beginning. She does feel like she's better than them. She feels like she's the boss but she feels like she's the boss of the entire division. It's not just them that she's targeting, but if they, if Kairi wants to take it personal, if Io and Kairi and Mayu want to take it personal, then they're more than welcome to. She can, maybe she'll find a couple of people that she can talk to backstage and have themselves a 6-person tag match in the near future. We'll have to see, but 47 rating here. Not too bad of a rating for this match as it advances the storyline. Then we have a backstage segment. Gets 53 rating, which is pretty good. As we see, it's one of those spy cam segments where you see a camera peeking around a corner, and zoomed in the distance, you see Jay Lethal and Truth Martini talking to Tommy End. You don't really hear what they're saying at all, but they produce a wad of cash that Tommy End just kind of looks at and then just shrugs his shoulders and takes over. And that's when the commentators kind of reveal that, because they do reveal that tonight's main event is a non-title matchup featuring Pac versus The Blade. So apparently Lethal and Martini are paying for The Blade to either to do the damage or do some extra damage or whatever. We're not sure, but For some reason, they're paying Tommy End some money for the Blade, who I said is basically kind of like an assassin at this point. He's kind of a person who comes in and does kind of work like that. So I'm not sure. We're not sure what Jay Lethal and Truth Martini are paying Tommy End for, but it's the main event tonight is going to be the Blade versus Pac in a non-title matchup. So we'll have to see what ends up happening with that. Another match, by the way, that is announced that the commentators are talking about during this segment as well, which is why I'll announce it now because I forgot to announce it earlier, is that we are going to get one-on-one Jay Lethal versus Samoa Joe tonight, with the stipulation behind the matchup that the winner will go on to Fyter Fest to challenge Pac for the AEW World Championship. So, Lethal, I'm not sure why Lethal gets another chance to get a title shot, but he's going to have to deal with Samoa Joe if he wants a piece of, if he wants to get another shot at the title. So, but that's going to be our, that's going to be I think that's our semi-main event here tonight on Dynamite. 53 rating for the segment, though. Pretty good, decent stuff there. Then we get a 62 rating as we see our tag team champions in action, defeating the Jurassic Express in 10:47 when Uno got Jungle Boy to submit to the joystick. I'm not sure. That there, 62 rating for the match, 65 from Stu Grayson, 51 from Evil Uno, 56 from Jungle Boy, 41 from Luchasaurus. This is basically just, Jurassic Express trying to prove themselves against the tag team champions, but unfortunately could not get the job done against them, as the Dark Order looked strong in their victory. 62 rated for this match. It was really good too. I'm glad to see that. Afterwards, wow, this did worse than I expected it to. I was expecting at least mid-50s for this. That's weird. Afterwards, the Bucks come out on the stage, and they say that the Dark Order may have gotten the best of them at Revolution, just like they may have gotten the best of them All Out last year. But they're not giving up. They're going to get those tag team titles around their waists, no matter what they have to do to get them. 47 rating there, as the Bucks are kind of showing a little bit of desperation about wanting another shot at the tag titles. So, they lose heat for the storyline, which really kind of disappointing, but yeah. We have, pretty good storylines, or pretty good heat gaining on a lot of our other storylines tonight. So if one of our storylines is going to suffer for it, then so be it, I guess. Then we get a quick segment. Crap. I screwed up. Well, you know what? It only got a 40, so maybe it's a good thing I didn't do it. Cole and Baker were supposed to be set as off camera on this segment, so that way it advances the storyline. But if it only got a 40, it's probably not a bad thing anyway. But Hangman Adam Page and Kaylee Ray are staying backstage with Andrew Ocampo, and they're just kind of talking. They're kind of responding to the whole story time thing with Cole and Baker last week, and Ray's basically like, normally we don't, we're not really allies necessarily. We're not really, teaming up too often, that kind of thing. But if it means that we have to kind of watch each other's backs in our separate battles against Cole and Baker, then I'm up for it if you are. And Hangman's just like, listen, I want to get my hands on Adam Cole. I want to make him pay for the disrespect he's shown me for many years now. But I'm not stupid. I know that, Britt Baker's gonna be hanging around when that match ends up happening. So I have no problem with you watching my back, and I'll even, I'll watch yours, because I'm sure Cole will be hanging around your match. So kind of showing a little bit of I don't want to say uneasy alliance. It's more like a loose alliance. Like, they're not really like allied heading forward. It's more of just like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing, or something like that, where, they're working together because they know that they would be outnumbered if they didn't work together, kind of thing. So got a 40 for the segment. Not bad. The two don't have that great of entertainment skills right now. So, but I didn't want to make it just one-sided promos at this point. Then 71 rating for this matchup, as Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe go to a double countout in 10:46. So neither one of them apparently is going to Fyter Fest, or maybe both of them are. Who the hell knows? But the match goes to a draw, as essentially what ends up happening here is Lethal is taking it to Joe for most of the matchup. Joe's, obviously fighting back, and Lethal's trying to run away every time. He's playing the cowardly heel thing. I mean, anytime that Joe starts getting some offense going, Lethal runs away as soon as he can because he's worried about going up against Joe. And eventually, Lethal just says, screw it, walks out of the match. He's, heading up the ramp. When Samoa Joe leaves the ring, chases after him, and Lethal is sprinting through the backstage area with Joe following him, and that leads to the double countout. Got 71 here. Not bad. Lethal doing well. I will say this right now, though. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, actually. But yeah, Lethal with a really good in-ring performance there. Match got a 71. Can't complain about that. Afterwards, 69 rating. As we went to a commercial, we come back from the commercial, and Jay Lethal is still running through the backstage area as Joe is still going after him. Lethal dives into a waiting car, and the car speeds off with Joe standing there in the parking lot, screaming out Lethal's name. Kind of in that really disturbing, like, Samoa Joe scream, basically. Got a 69 rating here. Nice. And then our main event gets a 74 rating. Let's go. As it about that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Pac defeats the Blade in 13:06 by pinfall with the Black Arrow. 74 rating for the match. 83 from Pac. 55 from the Blade. Really good stuff here. Blade gave it his all. Standing toe-to-toe with the world champion is not a bad thing at all. But he can't get the job done against the world champion himself, who gets the victory here to end Dynamite. Show itself gets a 70 rating. Let's go. Increasing popularity in 47 regions. Really great to see there. So there you go. A lot of stuff happened on the show. We got some announcements for matches happening at Fyter Fest. And some matches that we're not sure what's going to happen quite yet with Fyter Fest. We know that it's going to be Hikaru Shida and Ashley Lane one-on-one. We know that's going to be MJF and Shane Strickland one-on-one. We know that the tag team titles will be on the line, but we don't know if the tag team titles will be on the line. We know that the Young Bucks want a shot at the tag team titles. We don't know if it's going to happen. We know that the Women's World title will be on the line because next week on Dynamite there will be a number one contenders match for said Women's World title. We know that there is potentially going to be a world title matchup at Fyter Fest as well. But the problem is that the two men who were just fighting for the number one contendership technically both lost their match. I mean, they didn't win, but they didn't lose. Or they didn't lose, but they didn't win. So, I mean, we're going to have to see what happens there. But yeah, it's a lot of crazy stuff happening here with AEW. Obviously, the biggest news story of the night is that John Cena is staying with WWE, ? Obviously, we need to try to sign John Cena, because I want to pay $167,000 a month to somebody right now. Just immediately eat up all of the money I have left for the company at this point. Not that it's really going downhill, but yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. The ratings for the night, though. 456,062 people watching Dynamite. Got a 70 rating. Better than NXT's 63 rating, which featured Roderick Strong defeating Ricochet and EC3 to retain the North American Championship. So there is that. So yeah, good stuff there from another episode of Dynamite as we continue to have some success here. Tied for our second best show of all time. Tied with Revolution and a Dynamite from September. Only behind the 71s we've had recently there. Top matches of all time. That main event got 4th of all time. Pac defeating the Blade got 4th of all time. So that's good to see. Yeah. Really good stuff there. Lethal and Joe's countout got 10th place too. So 2 really good matches from that show. As we continue to have success, continue to keep building up, getting AEW to a part where we can finally really start gaining momentum. We're at that point where, the fans are coming out to the shows now and the wrestlers are, really getting things going. Technically a little over a year into the save now. We're really starting to get things turning and get things moving. So we'll have to see how things play out as Fyter Fest does take place technically 17 days from now. So we'll have to see what other matches get booked from that or for that time and kind of go from there. But thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And we will catch you in this series next week for another episode of Dynamite.